In September 2017, the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico was devastated by Hurricane Maria. The Category 4 storm demolished homes, roads, and bridges, destroyed the Puerto Rican power grid, and triggered heavy flooding. Residents faced food and water shortages, disease outbreaks, and closed schools and hospitals. Almost 2 years have passed since the disaster, yet its effects on Puerto Rico, the people, and the island's agriculture and tourism-based economy are still being felt. With Congress in gridlock over relief funds, Puerto Rico has relied on the help of various groups, organizations, and institutions in the rebuilding process. Arizona State University has been very active in programs and initiatives to help the island. Over the past 2 years, ASU faculty, staff, and students have come together to address the dire situation. On October 5, 2017, ASU President Michael Crow sent a letter to the Governor of Puerto Rico offering to host students from the University of Puerto Rico and to assist faculty and researchers who have been displaced by the hurricane. Alexandra Garcia is one of the students who arrived at ASU after Maria.
I'm from Puerto Rico. I came in August last year. I just mainly because the education system over there is kind of like trembling, but ASU also offered a lot of financial help. Personally, I was blessed to not be that affected. I know people who were really affected by it, and it was really devastating to see such a beautiful island just go months without electricity, without water. It was really sad for me.
Dave Guston, the director for ASU School for the Future of Innovation in Society, oversaw some of the incoming Puerto Rican students.
The arrangements for the finances, for the tuition, for the housing, for the food, and so on was complicated, but it worked largely because of the goodwill of everybody involved and the generosity of the central administration, and the provost's office was just fabulous around that. But even given that, the whole thing would not have happened, I don't think, were it not for even some little things like how were they going to get here and how are they going to afford airfare here and back, because they, the students just did not have any amount of resources. And so one of the linchpins of the entire operation was an over-the-transom email request to Southwest Airlines, which had just opened up a flight route from Arizona to San Juan, and asking if they might be able to help. And they very quickly gave us a sufficient number of flight vouchers to not only bring the students here, but allow them to go back home. So it was a fairly large distributed effort with a lot of people contributing to its ultimate success, and really a lot of goodwill on all parts.
A large effort has been made by ASU faculty and staff to help Puerto Rico. But what about the students? We went out to see how much ASU students knew about Puerto Rico and Hurricane Maria.
Is Puerto Rico a state?
Is Puerto Rico a state? Yeah, sure.
No.
No, it's not a state.
It is not. It is a territory, I believe.
It is not a state.
What? It's a country. Is Puerto Rico a state? No, it's a country.
No.
How aware are you of the issues affecting Puerto Rico in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria?
Not aware at all.
Not as much as I should be. I know the few big headlines that you see here or there, but that is about it.
As far as them not having access to electricity and clean water and other common needs, I'm not sure what the current status. I know that it's similar to Flint and that it kind of goes under the radar, but I don't know where they're at currently.
Very, very uninformed.
I know that it's still not fixed. I know they still have a lot of issues and the U.S. government needs to do a lot more to help them, but yeah, that's about all I know about it.
old issues, I do know. I'm not sure, like, up to currently what's going on with there, but with all the power and everything like that going out and stuff like that, but I don't know currently what's going on. Sorry. School is taking over my life.
A little bit. I know that my family goes to Vieques, which is the island right off of Puerto Rico, and I know it got pretty trashed, so that's unfortunate.
The responses were mixed, but it was obvious that students felt they did not know enough about Puerto Rico. In spring 2019, the Humanities Lab at ASU set out to educate students on Puerto Rico as well as allow them to engage with the challenges brought about by Hurricane Maria through a course called Rebuilding Puerto Rico. Participating students learned about Puerto Rico and disaster relief and were then able to create their own projects to address issues in Puerto Rico. The class was led by Dr. Jose Lobo and Dr. Elizabeth Brake.
So, the lab is an experiment not only for the students who are taking it. It's an experiment for me. I think I can speak for Elizabeth in that this is not the usual format that we use to teach as teachers or the usual format that students are used to taking in a class. So it's an experiment. And among the things that make this lab different is that there is this emphasis on projects as the outcome. Yes, there's been a lot of reading and discussions and lectures, but it's been mainly from the beginning students preparing something tangible.
And something that should be able to be more widely shared. So not just a term paper that we will read and no one else will ever read, but something like a podcast or a book or a video that other people can actually access and could actually have an impact.
Throughout the course, students heard from other professors and researchers working in disaster studies and Puerto Rican relief. One such person was Dr. Katja Brundiers, a professor for the School of Sustainability. Dr. Brundiers has been working to improve capacity building for entrepreneurs in Puerto Rico in a way that could help the island in its recovery.
Okay, so what we try to do is, on the one hand side, developed a grant proposal to the Department of Commerce, its Economic Development Administration, and we developed this grant proposal together with a variety of researchers and with a local organization called COSAO. And the goal of this grant proposal is to build resilience of livelihoods and economies in Puerto Rico. We want to develop capacity building for entrepreneurs, and we focus on 4 types of entrepreneurs. Agricultural entrepreneurs, farmers. Second, food entrepreneurs, people who actually turn agricultural products into value-added products. And then energy entrepreneurs who provide reliable and renewable energy. And then tourism entrepreneurs who see ways to really leverage the beauty of the environment, the agricultural sector, and offer agroecological tourist activities. So while we were preparing this grant to the Department of Commerce, I worked with an undergraduate student in her last year, Bailey Howard, and she really got excited about the project. And she developed through her own entrepreneurship an internship and a research capstone in Puerto Rico with the same organization.
This student, Bailey Howard, created a master's capstone project centered around rebuilding Puerto Rico.
The project I'm working on here in Puerto Rico is focusing on disaster preparedness through community resilience initiatives and the umbrella of energy, food, water nexus solutions. So 2 of my project responsibilities are grounded in organizational capacity building for COSAO, which is a community-based organization in Utuado, Puerto Rico, that has the vision of bettering the socioeconomic status of local residents. And one of these responsibilities includes the development of an actor map that has the goal of depicting the intricate network between COSAO's projects and various local and international organizations that they have collaborated in the past or are currently collaborating with. So my second responsibility with COSAO is to create an internship program framework for the organization that offers students from the University of Puerto Rico, ASU, and others the opportunity to support their projects and initiatives through real-world learning experiences. I am also currently working with Finca del Cielo Eco Farm here in Utuado, and its vision to serve as a model of economic success for local farmers. To do this, I'm documenting best eco-farming practices and business techniques, as well as participating in farm work and the Farm CSA certification process. Finally, I'm serving as a teaching assistant for a 13-week solar installation course in Adjuntas, Puerto Rico. In addition to gaining proficiency in solar energy system installation, the 25 participating women are working to co-develop various business ideas to implement this knowledge when the course is over.
Another major project going on at ASU has been headed by Dr. Clark Miller. Dr. Miller is the director of ASU Center for Energy and Society and has recently received an award from the Department of Energy to carry out his project relating to the social value of energy in Puerto Rico.
So we've just gotten a new award from the Department of Energy in collaboration with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory and our partners at the University of Puerto Rico in Mayaguez at the National Institute for Energy and Island Sustainability. And that project focuses on developing strategies using solar energy technologies to what I call untangle the energy poverty nexus. And the purpose of this project is to figure out if we can use solar energy to disrupt that feedback between poverty and energy insecurity and find strategies working collaboratively with low-income communities to undo that through what we call creating or enhancing the social value of energy.
Dr. Nalini Chhetri has studied disaster recovery and has observed ASU's progress in rebuilding Puerto Rico.
Why is it that in the most powerful country in the world, why is it in the richest country in the world, why is it in the most resourceful country in the world, now we are having this conversation around Puerto Rico as if it was a developing country, right? It just doesn't make sense. Don't we have the most resources? I mean, don't we have the most, the democratic system in place that allows? So is it just about resources? I personally think it's not just about the resources, right? It's important, absolutely important that we have the resource, but it's more than just money. It's a lack of resources, of ideas, of connectedness, of that they are us and we are them kind of a thing. So Puerto Ricans are Americans. Why are we not treating them like Americans? At the research level, at the education level, at the institutional level, at the personal level, at the student level, I think ASU's done a lot. And I'm very proud to say that I think we have also chosen to do it in a much more difficult but much more resilient and sustainable way. It wasn't like, let's fix it and go there and fix it. It was much more, okay, these are very difficult and complicated things, so we have to look at it from a much more sustainable and long term, and that's by building relationship and building on the existing platform, so that way it'll be a long, but it'll be also a much more sustainable approach rather than a short-term, very fast kind of a stopgap measure.
Many other projects have been going on at ASU to help Puerto Rico, and there is overwhelming support to continue these programs and initiatives.
And last question, should ASU continue to produce programs and initiatives to address issues associated with Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah, for sure. We definitely need to address as many issues as we can on this campus because we have such a diverse community and stuff. So yeah.
Definitely.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Puerto Rico is still in a state of uncertainty in its rebuilding process, and members of the ASU community will continue to be engaged in the issues. Through the hard work of its faculty, students, and staff, Arizona State University will continue to help Puerto Rico in the coming years.